It's an older Hayward filter. The dial's all messed up and sand spitting in the pool. So we're going to redo all this plumbing, put all the sand in. We're going to take it out of this one, and we're going to put the new one in there. We're going to do some of this plumbing. The white crusty stuff there, that means that that was leaking on the top. So we're just going to redo everything. All these fittings, everywhere. This is the old stuff taken out. We took the sand out, we took all the plumbing off and everything. If you're interested in knowing how to take this all off, there's a link down below. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put the sand filter base on. Make sure that you have the drain plug on. The filter base just snaps on there. You really gotta push on there sometimes. Set the sand filter in place. Make sure you can get to the drain plug. The amount of sand that you'll need is right on the side. Make sure all the fingers are down. If you have the style that screws in, make sure it's all screwed in properly all the way around. That sits naturally dead center. So you don't have to force anything, just kind of move it around until it goes dead center. You put this on or you can tape it. In there, you can put water in there, but sometimes you can't put water in there. Maybe your tap's not on, or maybe it's broken, doesn't work. You can put a bucket of water in there if you want. How about the sand? Doesn't make a difference because that opening, it's all drained anyway, so the sand's there. I'm going to be taking this cardboard piece off because the sand's way too wet, so I'm going to put tape on it. So same idea, if you're going to put sand change, just tape it up. So clean this off, all the sand. You can take this tape off. Time to get the top dial all set up. Make sure the backwash sight glass is on good. We're going to be putting all new adapters on. So we're going to have some Teflon tape, some silicone. Everything's going to be linked down below. We're going to be Teflon taping all the threads on each adapter. Put silicone on top of the Teflon tape. It lasts way longer and you'll have less leaks. Spread the silicone evenly around the Teflon tape. Screw on all three adapters. Try to do it as best you can by hand tight first, and then you can use a tool. If you over tighten that, you'll break that dial. You just want to be snug. That's what it should look like right there. One step closer being finished. The bag that came in the box, you want to get that gasket, and we're going to put some grease on it. Grab the white box at the same time. It's the pressure switch. We're going to put that on too. Any of the products in this video, we're going to be linking everything down below if you're interested in any of this stuff. Next, we're going to put on the pressure switch. Sometimes it comes with the Teflon tape on it, and sometimes not. So you might have to put Teflon tape on it. Now don't over tighten this at all, because that will crack where it's threaded into very easy. A lot of people over tighten that and crack that. So we got our top dowel ready. So what I do is I just put a little bit of grease just in the inside here, so it slides in better. Line that up where you think everything's going to go. So it's going to go in there. If you're not sure, right on the side it says pump, so it goes pump, pump. On the bottom here it says return. Right here is waste, which is backwash. I'm going to hook that up. Top dowel, you don't want to tighten it too much, but so you want to see it right there. Now if your equipment is outside to the elements like the sun and the rain and all that stuff, you're not in a pump house, these here, use the same grease and put it on the thread. So it just goes on right around. So it might fall off on you, but so what you want to do is, so you can get a screwdriver in there, you got to move this in a way that's kind of away from all this other stuff. Line it up like this on both sides. One side like that. The opposite side, you want to do it like this, the opposite side. You don't want to do it the same way. So you want to go like that, opposite side. And then tighten these, this gap in between. Just don't tighten one down and not the other. So go back and forth. Tighten this side and go on the other side and tighten that one. Just go back and forth. Try to get this gap even on both sides. And it just has to be snug. If you did it right, it shouldn't leak at all. But if it does leak, try to tweak this a little bit. If it doesn't stop leaking, you're going to have to tear it all apart. But if it's brand new and you put it in right exactly the way I told you to do it, you're not going to have no leaks whatsoever. Don't forget to put these in. Even if you put grease on the threads, just put that on there too. Next, for the Hayward sand filter, we're going to hook up some plumbing and a couple other parts, and then we're going to get this thing going. So we put an adapter there on our pump. This is all leaking, so we redid that with the silicone and Teflon tape. Now, because I have really limited space in here, that goes to the heater outside, heater into the heater, out. So I have to go from there. I'm going to put a coupling to right there. It's going to go from there to there. And I'm going to go from there to down there. And I got to hook the backwash back up, which is right there. See, I use the primer and the glue. A lot of other places just use the glue. So I use both just because I have to make sure that it's on there good. Plus I use hard pipe and soft pipe. There's so many different types of glue, but this is how I do it. I've been doing it for 20 years. Same glue, same primer, no issues. Flex pipe to, doesn't matter if it's the PVC white or gray. So I've had no issues whatsoever. You have to position your filter in a way that this is not, your pump's not going to be too close, because really the flex can't really arc in there like that. So I'm going to have to, because this pump's a little bit too close, I can't go that way. So I'm going to have to use some hard pipe, a little bit of hard pipe here, and kind of sweep it, try to sweep it in. So it's not going like that. I want it to go in straight. So what I could do is I could put hard pipe, bring it out here a bit with a 45, kind of like on an angle, and then hard pipe up on a 45. So basically it just goes dook, dook, and then because you just want to limit that flow. I don't really like the big 90s or too many of them, like 190 here, because it's all the water's coming up. I don't like just going up and then 90. You kind of sweep it in there. Now you could use a 90, like a bigger sweep, a bigger one, instead of just choom, choom, like that. Yeah, I don't like using that because it restricts that a little bit. Just, you know, you want that nice flow going in. It does work, If you have this and that's all you can get, then use that, but that's not what I do. I'll show you what I do. So for this here, I'm just gonna guess on, you know, where it's gonna go here, because we're kind of, this is forward from this. This is sitting a little bit back. So I'm gonna bring it up here. I'm gonna glue a piece in here first and then calculate my angle here. So we got our primer, we got our glue, got our pipe. I just glue it in here and then I'll cut it. Primer on the inside, primer around the end. Be careful with this stuff if you're using it. Glue on the inside of there and then the outside of here. Take the pipe, put it in and twist. Twist and hold because it'll start pushing out. Just hold it there. You can blow on it too if it's too cold out. If it's warm, it sets up pretty quick. Okay, I got my 45s, and we can calculate where I want to go with the soft pipe. I'm just going to guess right there. And then I'm just going to cut it there. I just want it as close as possible because I'm assuming that the 45 is going to be right about there. So we could put it right here or just get it ready. Don't glue anything back in. So get it as straight as possible. That was terrible, but it'll work. So I'm going to glue it together on the fitting. So for me, I use the primer, glue, inside glue. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Push it in, slide, hold it. So we just put it in, dry fit it. So it's approximate. Because I think it's going to be not, I can turn this, right? We can angle this towards the pipe. And then we can put a flex in between. Well, if we line it up right, we can do a hard pipe, but when you do it quickly and it's kind of offset, flex kind of gives you that little extra, you know, half inch or so, and you can bend it so it's easier. So I'm going to line that up. I'm guessing it. I've guessed it to be right about there. We'll see how it turns out. So we're going to put primer on the pipe and then primer on the fitting, which I'm not showing on the camera here. You get the idea. So glue on this one next and then glue on the pipe. I'll try to angle it towards the fitting. You got to hold it because it's going to start coming out. Angle it towards it a bit. So there it is right there. It looks like it's straight, but it's not. It's this is here is forward about 2 inches. We're going to measure a flex in between there. Well, now it wouldn't be too bad if you were doing the front, because you can adjust it. Say we were doing all this stuff, we can line it up perfectly. We could use just flex because we can move it a bit, but here you can't move it back and forth, so we can't line that up going back. So I took a flex and I glued it in. Now I'm not going to mess with this because it's cold out right now and I have to heat that up with a heat gun. It's just not that flexible. It's too hard. It'll pull right out of here because it's still trying to set. Now we glued that, so the end that we did a dry fit, I just took it out. So there's a little bit of flex, so we can move it around a bit. If it was hard pipe, we can't move that around. Just like that. As you can see, it's a little off. We couldn't use hard pipe in there, but it does. It's not a big, huge angle. You don't want it like a huge angle, so it's not bad. So you got the backwash done. You got the one that's going to the heater. This one was tough. So I used hard pipe, and that's not moving too much. I had to figure out this sweep, glue this one in. Pretty much glue everything out at the same time. So I glued this and that hard pipe, put it in same time. Glued this side, push this side back in this way because there's no room to fiddle. Like I couldn't glue this all in, then go that way. How am I get this piece in here? So you got to think ahead. You got to plan everything. whenever you do a sand change, make sure that, because it's brand new stuff and there's going to be this little dust in it, so you don't want it going back in the pool. So you're going to have to backwash that out. So put it on backwash, turn it on, flush the system for a bit. You don't have to do it very long, because in your sight glass here you'll see it go cloudy, and once it clears up, then that's it. Same thing, you go back to rinse. So backwash, rinse for about 5 seconds. After you've done rinse, put it back to filter. If you have a night valve or anything like that, make sure it's shut again, so you don't want it leaking out there. Brand new, so it shouldn't leak. Eventually it will, sorry to say, but Hayward, you got to fix that part. Turn it back on. Check over your equipment for any leaks, even the heater. Well, you got this far. Thanks for watching me put this Hayward sand filter together. Make sure to like and subscribe.